welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be using the Duo for childhood cancer. This is a special cause for Kande Dips as it touches one of the ambassadors very closely. Her niece was diagnosed with leukemia and she's been going through treatments. It got diagnosed at a very young age and is doing wonderful currently. And all of the ambassadors decided to get together to do a mani with these two colors. This dip is called Stronger Than Cancer. It is a thermal that changes from this darker orange to a lighter orange color. It's a subtle change. It is super beautiful. And then the glitter is called Elin's Journey. This glitter is full of all different kinds of shapes and colors, orange, reds, golds. It's got some tinsel glitters in there, different size glitters. It pretty much, what I was told, that it embodies her personality. It is like a very fiery, very fun, and it just embodies her personality in a dip. So I love this pairing. I love the cause. I left the information in the bottom of the screen for where 100% of the donations will go. When you do purchase this duo, all of the proceeds are going to go towards this specific organization that has helped the family very closely and continues to do so. So this also is not gifted. I did purchase this with my own money at the same price y'all would buy it for, because I do feel like that it's going to a great cause and I love to support causes like that. So also I showed everything else that I'm going to be using. We're going to be doing some stamping and stuff like that as well, included later in the mani. So stick around for the stamping after we get some colors on. I wasn't quite sure exactly what I was going to do when I started. I kind of had an idea, which is why I pulled out the glow, which I do have a big container of that glow. I love the white hot glow. If you don't have it, you should definitely try it out. Under decals, it glows amazing. The coverage is awesome, but it's also like a milky white. So if you did to 2 layers, it won't be so white that it's going to be like overpowering, but 3 layers would give you that perfect stark white. All right, so on to what we're actually doing. I decided that I wanted to do the glitter first because I knew I wanted the glitter to go at least on my pinky and my thumb because it's so gorgeous. And I usually put my favorite color of the mani on my thumb so that I can look at it the most. And for the first layer, I decided I was going to pour over to try to catch some of the smaller glitters and try to get them to stick on that base layer. And then I was going to dip in for the second layer. So even with my non-sticky builder gel underneath my tips being purple glitter, you really do not see it. Even in person, you don't see the purple sticking out underneath. That's how awesome these dips are. They are opaque in 2 layers, fully, even the glitter. There's no purple peeking out in the glitter just because of how well this glitter, the pieces are so irregular that they're not stacked on top of each other, so it doesn't look crazy. But it works out to be, sorry, I had a call, I had to ignore. It works out to look really gorgeous, not overpowering, not super chunky. So it looks really, really good when I finish, as I'll show y'all. I think I put a close-up shot in here at the end. So what I do is, since there's smaller containers as well of the dip, what I like to do is I like to put them in these Dipcup liners. I'll pour the entire color in one, and then I will pour over my nail still, but I'll pour it into another Dipcup liner. So it just keeps me from having to jumble holding that super small sample jar, or any sample jar really. I like to have it because it mixes the powder out. It's just a way for me to pour over better, because it also has the little pour spout too. So I mean, it's the perfect pour over. As you'll see with the solids, it works great. I just go back and forth and back and forth. Also, I wanted to mention that if you notice the Dipcup liner is changing colors when I hold on to it, that's because this one is the orange thermal. It goes from this darker orange to the yellow, as you see when I lifted my hand up. I have been super hot lately. I mean, it is still summer, but I've just been super hot And today happened to be one of those days when I was doing this mani that I was just like, my body temperature was just up there. So the Dipcup liner, every time I touch the orange one, it turns yellow, which I like. I love the thermal of it. I think it's really fun. So if y'all were looking for something like that, there's a couple other colors at SJ3 Designs as far as like color changing items. So if you haven't checked out SJ3 Designs, you definitely should. They've got everything you need to make your mani a little bit easier. I'm using my palm rest and I'm using my bottle holder as well, as you can see. They are some of my favorite items, and I literally do not know how I did a mani before. I can't remember because I've been using them every mani now that I just don't know how I did it without them before. All right. So what I did now is I just found a couple of places where I was like, I think I could use another glitter right there. It just will make it pop a little bit more. So I decided to just add a couple of extra glitters just to make it pop just a little bit, some semi-empty spaces. But I sometimes get stuck in the hand placing that sometimes it gets a little extra, but you want to try to keep it not overpowering to kind of let the glitters go where they go. But with this second layer, I did dip in, and my nails are not thick at all. Even with the second layer and the amount of the coverage that I got, everything kind of just laid really flat. Everything kind of smoothed over, because I think with it being not just one size glitter, it was a lot easier for me to work with, because I feel like if all the glitters, like the chunky glitter, if it's all the same size glitter in there, it just, for me, I'm having a hard time with those lately just because they just make the nail too thick, and I want to cover all the parts of the nail, but I don't want them overlapping a lot. I want all the glitters to show, which is why I love this one. And also I love orange, so I'm like kind of biased because orange is my favorite color. So I really like this pair anyway. But I also did want you to notice that I put a glove on this time. I'm trying to do better about not touching my stuff, any of my dips or gels or anything. I'm really trying to be better about that, as much as I can be. But sometimes I still find myself not wearing the appropriate things, not using a plastic bag to push things down or anything. So you really just want to make sure that you're not touching the product to your skin as much as you can. It just prevents any kind of allergies, and you don't want to have any allergies or any reactions, because I mean, anybody who's ever had an allergic reaction to anything, you know it's not fun. I've had reactions to Band-Aids. Like, I can't wear regular Band-Aids. I have to get specific Band-Aids, and I can't use certain like medical tapes and stuff. So it's just the feeling that you get from an allergy, the itching and stuff, is just not fun, and you get swollen, and it's not a good look. I am very thankful to never have had a gel allergy, but I don't ever want to get one. And prolonged exposure to something will give you an allergy at some point. I've been doing a lot of research on it, and you just want to be really careful. I just was talking with you guys through that as you were watching me push the glitters down and place them. This is real time. I left this in real time so you guys can see how I work with the chunky glitter with the irregular pieces. So now I kind of moved everything away from the cuticle while I was doing the mani itself. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a couple of pieces, and I'm just going to put them at the cuticle line where there's a couple of little holes at the bottom. And it's kind of hard to see what I'm picking up, but I'm going to be using the super tiny pieces at the cuticle line, because you want to kind of keep it thin down there just so it doesn't add the extra bulk. I mean, it's personal preference, everything is with doing your nails. This is just my suggestions always. When I say you should or something like that, I really don't mean that you must 100% do this or die. I don't mean that at all. I really just mean that that's what I would suggest. That is a suggestion from me personally. Please don't think I'm telling you what to do, because I already have 4 people I tell what to do at home, all of my kids, and I'm not telling anybody else what to do. You live your life. You do what you want to do with your nails. Just trying to throw out some tips and pointers that have helped me that I just suggest to you guys. All right, continuing on with the colors. I did the chunky glitter. It's not bumpy or anything really, but I'm still going to do a clear cap because I don't want to have to do a lot of filing at the end. So I'm going to use Krystal Clear because it is her clear, it is super clear, as you'll see. Like, this is one of the clearest clears that I've used. I have a couple that I really, really thoroughly enjoy. This has added itself to my list of clears that I enjoy. I apply a little bit of a thicker layer of base because what I want the base gel to, or not gel, but the base coat to do, this is dip base. I want it to get into those spots where there is no glitter, where the pieces are uneven, so that the powder can just soak in there. The dip base will soak all the powder up and it will fill in those spots. That's what clear is. Clear is your topper and your filler. And I only do one layer of clear. And once I have seen that the powder is no longer soaking in, when it's looking like powder on top and it's not looking wet, I will know that I've done all of the dumping over and pouring over that I needed to do, and I move on to the next nail. I also just let the clear sit because you want the clear to fully soak in, because if you try to scrub it off before it's ready, that's when you start getting your white spots and your clouding and everything that people talk about, issues with clear. But disclaimer, not all clears are created equal as well, because some clears, they are not clear. They tell stories. Some clears are not clear. Could also be user error, but all clears are not created equal. That is very true, and I have tried that myself. There's nothing worse than trying to throw clear on a glitter at the end and messing up your whole mani and having to redo the whole nail. So, with that in mind, all clears are not equal. We're going to go to say that this one is a very, very good clear, but you must let the clear soak into the powder, soak into the dip base for it to work properly. So, what I did was I did the same thing I did on my other nail. I just poured the clear over until the nail stopped looking wet, and then I'm just going to let the clear sit while I dip my other 3 nails. So I just let it sit on there so it will fully dry and try not to bump it. So now we get on to the thermal. I really wasn't sure what I was gonna do. I thought I was gonna stamp with orange over white, and I was gonna use the glow and make it glow, but then I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna use the Duo and I'm just gonna stamp over top of the orange. So I decided to, last minute, as you'll notice, I put the orange, I do 2 layers of the orange, and I do that on the 3 nails that are currently not covered, obviously, because I can't put them on the ones that already have color. But I decided to do 2 layers of the orange because I felt like that was enough. And then I did some stamping over top. Oh, I was showing you now the thermal. Like, my hand was really, really hot. Because when I get clustered in my mind and I don't know what I'm going to do for my mani, it makes me really hot sometimes. When I get in like a state of confusion, I get hot. So I was really not knowing what I was going to do with this. But I did know that I wanted to stamp. And then I decided last minute that I was just going to use the Duo, the 2 colors that come in the Duo, which the Duo is listed in the Etsy shop. I will leave the link straight to the Duo in the description box, along with the shop in general, so you can check out any other colors that you might want to grab, because her recent fall release was pristine. It was just so gorgeous. So you definitely should check out some of those fall colors, and I know her Halloween collection is going to be great. And then shortly after that, everybody's going to be dropping Christmas colors. So if you have not tried Kande Dips, I would totally keep her in mind and check out some of her stuff. It is really, really good quality, especially that clear and that white hot. If those are the only other 2 things you get, then just get those. All right, so here's what I was saying about the pouring over. That's just one coverage, and you can't even see the purple. I just felt like it was like not quite as dark as I wanted it to be, not quite as opaque with that 1 layer, and I'm a 2 dip powder layer person. I do that regardless of the opacity. I do 2 layers just because I feel like if I don't do 2 layers, something will happen. Just something will happen. It also gives that extra strength because the dip powder will give you strength. And I did not clear cap these 3 nails because they were not needing it. I did not need to file over top of them. I did not even need to buff them, because the pouring over actually also helps keep your layers thin. It keeps them smooth. It keeps them nice. And as long as you clean out the cuticle line, the only thing I did at the end for a little bit of filing was I filed the cuticle line just a little bit to crisp it up just a tiny bit. And then I filed the free edge area, the sides, and that is it. I did no filing on top before stamping, and it was great. I had no issues. And I tried to be a very clean dipper, so I try to make sure that I'm applying my layers really thin, I'm not overflowing my sidewalls, I'm not overflowing my cuticle, and I'm cleaning up my cuticle after every dip. This keeps filing at the end super easy, and it keeps the powders applying nicely so that you don't have to stress. Sometimes, yes, it is a lot of work, but a lot of work during the mani is worth it at the end. So, I mean, here's what we're looking like after we get to the end of it. Oh yeah, I'm scrubbing off my clear now. That is the thing. Scrub like nobody's business that clear off. So I'm going to activate the other nail. I'm going to go ahead and activate those nails while I'm waiting on the orange to kind of like soak in. I'm going to activate the glitter nails because the clear is soaked in, it's scrubbed off, it's completely ready to go. So now I just activate them so that when I'm finished with my other 3 nails, they'll be ready to like shape up and file a little bit while I'm waiting on my orange nails to dry. I am using the liquids from Hematite Dip Co. I have been obsessed with their liquids since they released, and they have quickly tied. I have 3 favorite liquids, and they are tied up there, depending on my mood, which one I grab. But they're all amazing. Dry time is great. I'm obsessed. I have 3 favorites, and I don't think I will ever buy anything else unless they close, and then I'll be sad and cry. But I have 3 for that reason, in case any of them decide to go to be out or whatever. All right. So here is me activating the other 3 nails. I do 2 layers of activation to make sure that everything activates and gets really, really good and nice so that I can file great. Look at how bright that orange is. I love, love, love this. So I went ahead and filed, like I said, I went and filed a little bit off camera just to keep it a little bit crisp, because now we're gonna go in with some stamping. No, actually I lied. I told you guys a lie. We are going to use some base coat, and we are actually going to make an awareness ribbon on the middle finger. I forgot that I did that, and I'm still wearing the mani, so I should have known. But I forgot when I'm watching the video back to do this voiceover. All right, so this nail art palette is from Resinating Crafts RVA. She makes some of the most amazingly beautiful items that you can't even imagine. So she made this custom nail art palette. This is one of her first ones that she made. I requested just orange, and she knocked this out of the park. And I felt like it was perfect to use since we're doing an all orange theme mani. So why not show you guys? So now all I'm doing is I'm drawing an awareness ribbon in base coat, and I'm gonna use the glitter. So check this out. All I do is I take the glitter, I move some of the chunky pieces out of the way, and I just dip my finger in. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the chunky pieces off, the really big ones, because they don't belong in a small mani or a small little design, in my opinion. I just don't like that. So I just fix the ribbon shape up as best as I can, add some pieces, take some away, straighten up the lines, make it look really look like a ribbon. I think it turned out really super cute. I was gonna stamp the ribbon initially because I saw one, but I just thought that throwing the glitter in there would be super awesome. So I just decided I would do that, and it was really easy to do. As y'all see, y'all are literally, I just sped this up a little bit because it took me a while to like play around with the shape and everything because I wanted it to be perfect, especially for the cause. I really wanted them to smile when they saw it. So I wanted to make sure that everything was as perfect as I could get it. So after I get done messing with everything, I toss it in the lamp for 30 seconds so everything gets in place. Now look at that. Isn't that super pretty? Don't mind my nails poking through my gloves. Don't mind that. So now we're going to do some stamping. I decided that I was going to stamp this bottom right design, and I was going to put that on the ring finger just because I liked how the irregular ones looked. I didn't really like the ones that were all in a straight line. They weren't really catching my eye, so I went for these ones. Put some stamping polish on, roll the stamper, and it picked up amazing. And since I'm doing it over dip powder and I'm using the stamping polish, I didn't even put a base coat down, and look at that. If you move fast, you don't have to use a sticky base. If you're moving really slow, then you're gonna have to use a sticky base. But if you scrape, pick up, and put on your nail immediately, then I found that in my personal in my personal life, in my stamping journey, that I don't have to do that. So the same thing, put the polish on, scrape, pick up, get a couple of things off that I don't want on the nail as much as I can, because I'm like, oh, this is not gonna stick. Then I go and I place it right on the nail. I don't like to add extra layers, so if I don't need to add something, I just don't. You can also do a base coat and wipe off the tacky layer and just use that as well for a stamping base, but I just activated the nails and I stamped over top of activator, and that works for me. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to let it dry for a little bit, and then I go in with gel base coat and gel top coat, because I am a gel base, gel top person, so that's just my personal preference. And I left in this part of showing y'all how it looks when I top coat, because it is gorgeous. Just look at that. It is so pretty. I just could not leave this part out. I had to show y'all me doing the base coat, because the top coat is the same thing when you're doing, it's the same kind of a reveal when you're doing the base coat and you're doing top coat if you're using gel. So if I was just using a dip top, I would show that as well, but since the top coat gives you the same look as the base coat, I just figured I would show you the base so y'all can watch this mani come alive. So I'm letting my other nails dry just a little bit more before going into them. That's why I did my other two nails first, and I do my thumbs separate. But look at how beautiful that gold stamping polish stands out. It brings out the gold and the glitter. It gives it a little bit of shine. I just really thought that the stamping pulled it all together at the end, and it was something that I really felt like I wanted to do for this mani. I've been trying to do more stamping videos, so if y'all want to see more stamping videos, y'all leave me a comment down below if y'all want to see more stamping. Here we are, all finished, and I thought you can see, this is just the base coat. We're all finished with the base coat, and you can see a little bit of the thermal. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to do the top coat, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show y'all the thermal change. So I went and got my cup of water. This is hot water in there, and I was just gonna pour it into my decal dish, and I'm gonna show you guys the thermal change in this dip powder, because you'll have to see it. Now you can see it a little bit, but I wanted to change the entire nail, so I just put my nails down. So that is the color that it will turn. It's a lighter orange, but it's still orange, and everything still goes together really well. And then I left it in so you can kind of see how fast it goes back, and then dipping it back in just so you can see how good of a changer it is. It'll change really, really fast. So here are the colors again, in case y'all were interested in grabbing them. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed these dips. I really appreciate that Kande Dips was able to make this duo for the cause. I think that it's an amazing cause, and all of the proceeds are going to be donated to Cure Childhood Cancer, the center in Atlanta. Thank y'all for spending some of your day with me, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Have a good one.